Hatred-imbued living stone. A sentient amorphous abomination spawned within a nightmare and birthed from the combined hatred of Maivyn, Verdane the Veiled, Artorius the Humble, and the Journeyman. This spawn imbues structures with hatred, causing a structure to swell and grow outward, growing in malice and expanding the proximity of its curse. Its existence is insatiable hunger for power and dominance that threatens to infest the region with life-siphoning monstrosities. Those life-siphoning monstrosities are the original living stone that we encountered. Living stone is an entirely new type of manifestation. It's the first manifestation we encountered. It was essentially a stone gargoyle. It looked like a stone gargoyle. It was a creature made of stone, out of the same rock, out of the same stone that creates the bastion, and it siphons life from those touching the stone. It can siphon life. It can paralyze. If you recall, I fought it, and it had a strange fight with it. I think the artist had something to do with that. But that was a byproduct of this bastion. It is parasitic and feeds off of the discord within the hearts of its victims, is what we learned so far. Let's see. I do believe there was some lore that was submitted by some of the characters. Maivyn says Maivyn's character, Maivyn contributes to the lore. Maivyn says he will be hesitant of addressing his past or facing the abomination that represents it. He'll trust his intuition, but above that, he'll seek guidance in his exceptional rank ability, his mysterious weapon, the accursed bow. If it can provide help or answers, the way the bow will speak, be it in its mind or out loud, the words it'll say, and what will it ask in return if it agrees to entertain the archer. I'll leave it to the die. So Maivyn's ability is his attunement with this bow that he has that is cursed, and he's going to see if there's potentially a chance that the bow is able to have any sort of connection and can lend any kind of information by way of help or answers, any information regarding, I guess, the hatred-imbued living stone. First and foremost, we'll roll to see if the bow reacts at all to this situation. Maivyn is obviously involved. Well, does the bow have any kind of reaction, or does it try to influence Maivyn in any kind of way? That would be interesting, because that could mean that there's some sort of connection. It has some sort of motive now. But first, let's see if that is even a thing, because we can nip that in the bud and right then and there. Does Maivyn's bow react at all to the situation in regards to the hatred-imbued living stone? Because if it does, we're going to make it relevant, meaning it has information. And that'll be interesting to see how it communicates that. But does Maivyn's bow react at all? Just like Maivyn says, he'll trust in his intuition, but above that, he'll seek guidance in his exceptional rank ability, his mysterious weapon, the accursed bow, if it can provide help or answers. Is this thing reacting at all? The fact that Maivyn is even seeking guidance in the bow tells us that Maivyn has done this in the past, right? So Maivyn is attempting to, Maivyn is turning to its bow. He's turning to his bow, and we're going to see if it can provide help or answers. Remember, this is all in regards to the lore. In the context of everything, this is all in regards of a lore contribution to the hatred-imbued living stone. And he's going to turn to his bow, is how I'm going to interpret this. Is the bow able to provide help or answers? I'm going to say, I'm going to say 50. I'm going to say, because it is also the bow itself is a curse. It's in that world, right? So, is this cursed object reacting at all to this cursed entity that they are going to be facing, that we are faced with? I'm going to say very likely. I'm going to say the odds of that are very likely. So, anything under a 90 is a yes, and anything under an 18 is an exceptional yes. I'm going to say that his bow is definitely probably going to be reacting to this. No, I'm actually going to lower that to, I'm going to say likely. I'm going to say likely. Anything under an 85. Because it might, all because, it's also, I'm going to say likely it reacts. I feel good about that. Anything under an 85. $28. That's a yes.
Hesitant to involve himself with a manifestation that represents everything he buried in the past, Maivyn listens from afar, his curiosity in the occult nature of the sentient structure compelling him to seek understanding, to comprehend the supernatural capabilities of that which embodied pure hatred. To ensure he could assist in the determent of their demise, Maivyn attempts to retrieve knowledge of the cursed sentient structure from another cursed sentient object. It wasn't uncommon for the weapon to whisper into his mind, influencing his actions. Surely it could communicate its ancient wisdom. With a firm grip on the bow shaft, he reaffirmed his commitment to stand against the malevolent force that threatened their sanity and proposes a request for wisdom.
That's a yes. So, what is the bow saying? How's the bow speaking? Is it telepathic? Very likely. Matter of fact, no, I'm actually cool with saying 50-50. I'm cool with saying 50-50. Let's mix it up. Anything under a 75. Yeah, I'm going to say 50-50. Anything under a 75. Yes. Telepathically, it's speaking to him. Okay. And what is it saying? What is it saying? What is this bow telepathically saying to Maivyn? Aggressive. Nice. I'm interpreting that as the bow definitely has something that Maivyn wants in the way of information, and it's very open about that, and it's aggressive in a way that it is it's aggressive in the way that it is looking to bargain with Maivyn for his interest in this information. Maivyn says he'll trust in his intuition, but above that, he'll seek guidance in his mysterious weapon, the accursed bow, if it can provide help or answers. He's looking for guidance on how to potentially deal with this without compromising his sanity. He says he will be hesitant of addressing his past or facing the abomination that represents it. Okay? He'll seek guidance in his exceptional rank ability, the mysterious weapon, though. He's putting this above everything else. The accursed bow, if it can provide help or answers. The way the bow will speak, whether it be in his mind, it's telepathic. It'll say, and what it will ask in return if it agrees to entertain the archer. So it's being very open about wanting to help. But obviously it appears to be this is a bargaining type of bow, it seems. What is the bow asking in return for knowledge? What is the bow asking in return? I'm going to roll on character motivations. This is what he motivates after. This is what the bow wants. This is what the bow wants in return, right? This is what the bow wants. What is motivating the bow is how I'm interpreting. So I'm going to interpret this. All right, here we go. Motivations, character motivations. Pain. Character. Oh! What? The bow wants to massacre more people? What? Yeah, this bow is evil. It's confirmed. Which character? We're going to roll. What character does this bow have beef with? What character does this bow have beef with? All right, here we go. D12, re-rolling ones and twos. $11. That's our second from the last newest character. Who was that? Rydak. Rydak is a Ronin that lost his sword. He forsakes armor for speed and agility. That's what makes him different from other. Rydak. Yo, the bow wants Rydak. Why? Rydak is a samurai. He has a black mask tattooed on his face. He's a faceless warrior and thus no last name. I'm going to roll a personality for the accursed bow. Let's do that. Let's get the personality for this cursed bow. So I can tell ChatGPT what it should be saying and responding like. All right, here we go. Personality. Larcenous. Larcenous protect. Larcenous protect. Larcenous. Having a disposition to steal. Okay. thievishness, type of dishonesty, a quality of being dishonest. This bow wants to steal lives is what it wants to do. Protect. And protect its host. The bow wants to steal lives and protect its host.
As Maivyn tightly gripped the cursed bow, a sinister telepathic voice slithered into his mind, weaving a wicked proposition. The voice, larcenous and aggressive, offered an exchange of wisdom in return for blood. It demanded the life of Rydak, the rogue samurai, claiming he posed a threat to their partnership. Yet the voice remained silent about the reasons behind this ominous demand. Maivyn's quiet nature was stirred by the bow's audacious proposal. His cynical mind pondered the price of such promised wisdom, skeptical of its true value. The bow, reveling in its own manipulation, taunted Maivyn with the allure of the occult knowledge. But Maivyn, driven by his impulsive instincts, resisted the bow's tempting promises. Within the depths of their negotiation, Maivyn sensed potential layers to this malevolent exchange. He pressed the bow, seeking answers, determined to unveil the secrets concealed within its cursed essence. The bow, in its sly manner, chuckled in response, acknowledging Maivyn's astuteness while still veiling its darkest motives. And so, in the shadowed recesses of his thoughts, Maivyn dwelled, contemplating the twisted pact offered by the cursed bow. The stage was set for a precarious dance between his own will and the insidious nature of the bow's influence.
Is Maivyn going to... No way, right? Let's look at Maivyn's personality again. Maivyn is impulsive, quiet, cynical. Believing that people are motivated purely by self-interest, distrustful of human sincerity or integrity. He has no faith in Rydak. Rydak is a lost warrior, right? A faceless warrior. He's faceless. Maivyn don't trust this man for some reason. Maivyn probably saw something happened with Maivyn and Rydak. Something happened with Maivyn and Rydak. We gotta look into that. That's the reason. Something happened with Maivyn and Rydak. Maivyn is impulsive. He might do this just so he doesn't have to face this thing that represents his past again. And the bow probably knows that, which is what's crazy. Has Maivyn been manipulated by this bow to the point where he has no control over the whims? The impulsiveness, is the bow taking advantage of this to the highest extent on Maivyn? Impulsive, quiet, cynical. Occult knowledge. He's probably infatuated with this accursed bow. Now scientists are always just so into their craft. The craft is like just way too diabolical, but they don't see it. Their interest or curiosity. I'm saying that this might be a 50-50 is all I'm saying. If Maivyn actually agrees to this. Because we could have a serious villain on our hands. It's a cursed bow. Maivyn may be destined to be a bad person out of all the characters, is all I'm saying. It's seeming like a 50-50. It's occult knowledge. Maivyn definitely wants lore about this thing. He definitely wants to know more about this accursed and hatred imbued living stone. It has already gotten to him before. This might be lingering effects of it. It's starting to look like a very likely is all I'm saying. It's starting to look like a very likely is all I'm saying. Does Maivyn agree? He wants them to kill him, right? Or does he just want it's Rydak's blood? Does the bow want Maivyn to kill Rydak? We're about to see how truly evil this bow is. Because the bow seems parasitic, right? You would think the bow would want Maivyn to prosper. Maivyn is in a position where he has allies in the wild, right? It's a good place to be. Would you really want to jeopardize that? How chaotic is this bow is what we're about to find out. I'm gonna say 50-50. The bow, at the end of the day, the bow had him kill the entire dwelling, is what we learned. This is just one person. 50-50. Does the bow want Maivyn to kill Rydak? 50-50. Anything under 75. Oh, correction. I mean, I'm resetting. We're gonna keep those previous rolls. We're going to keep the previous rolls. The chaos factor was a little wonky. It was a little high, but luckily we didn't get too deep into it. We're going to keep those rolls. 50-50. Does the bow want to kill? Does the bow want Maivyn to kill Rydak? 50-50. Anything under 50 is what I need. Here we go. That's a yes.
Within Maivyn's mind, a relentless voice resounded, each echo intensifying the chilling command. Kill! 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 It reverberated through the depths of his being, a haunting mantra that offered no reprieve. The cursed bow, an inescapable instrument of fate, ensured that he could not deny its unequivocal demand and leaving no room for misinterpretation.
Does Maivyn agree to this? For the knowledge? Does the cynical Maivyn, impulsive, cynical Maivyn want to give up the opportunity to get some knowledge on something he doesn't want to exist in return for the death of a faceless scumbag, is how he probably looks at him. A lost soul in Rydak, who's a fairly new rogue. What happened between these two? We should probably figure that out before we see if Maivyn would actually kill Rydak over this information. What happened between these two? I'm going to keep it simple, and I'm just going to roll action and the description of that action. Here we go. All right. Action. Usurp. Weapon. Description. Bleakly. Powerful. Somebody tried to mess with somebody's weapon. All right. Let's take a look at Rydak here. Rydak. What do we know about Rydak? Rydak is a Ronin that lost his lord. Did I say sword last time? Lost his lord. He forsakes. I think I said sword last time. That would be a crazy disadvantage to be a. That would be a cool story arc. You gotta get your sword. Rydak is a Ronin that lost his lord. He forsakes armor for speed and agility. So he's probably really into weapons, right? Tactics, athletics, history. He's a history buff. Is it possible that Rydak saw that bow, which probably never leaves, I doubt it ever leaves Maivyn's side, all right? There was a conversation that happened between these two, and I think Rydak identified that bow and sort of knew what it was about. Maybe knew something about that bow, and that bow doesn't like that. That's what we're running with. Rydak knows something about that bow.
Entering Genovese from a long, treacherous journey, Rydak, the faceless samurai, makes his way through the doors and onward to the bar, but not before immediately identifying the wickedly vile artifact resting over Maivyn's shoulder. Rydak stops and shoots him a look. A knowing smile tugged at the corners of his lips, for his deep historical wisdom had revealed Maivyn's possession of a notoriously foul bow, immediately bringing into question the mental health of its host. With audacious confidence, he engaged Maivyn, their paths converging amidst the murmurs of the tavern patrons. "Ah, stranger," Rydak's voice, laced with arrogance, whispered over him. "I cannot help but acknowledge the terror you keep in your possession. Its disciple yet impressive legacy commands my admiration." Maivyn's eyes widened in surprise, caught off guard by Rydak's brazen acknowledgement. The cynicism that typically colored their retorts momentarily gave way to stunned silence, his thoughts racing to comprehend the audacity of the encounter. Rydak's grip tightens around the hilt of his blade. "In my presence, I implore you to restrain any sudden urges that may lead you to unleash the violence stirring within you upon those who occupy this establishment, for it will be the last day history repeats itself." Rydak turned away from Maivyn, his gaze fixed ahead as he continued his purposeful stride towards the bar. Caught in the wake of Rydak's commanding presence, Maivyn stood frozen, a myriad of emotions swirling within. His voice, momentarily stifled, found no words to respond to the audacity of Rydak's threat.
Does Maivyn agree to kill this man? I'm gonna say likely. Anything under 65. He made a pact with the accursed bow, and he agreed. All right, what is the information that the bow is able to give us about the accursed living stone? It's probably going to be cursed. It's going to be weird, right? Like, what would a cursed object? This ancient object. It's an ancient object, apparently, right? It's an ancient bow. It probably goes back in history. It goes back in time with the moonlit bastion and the living stone. All right, I'm going to roll action. I'm going to roll description. Deny reassurance. Deny reassurance. Deny reassurance. Description. Perfectly horrible. Perfectly horrible. So he's saying whatever doubt you have that this entity is not a problem, forget that doubt that you have. It is a problem. In fact, when it does come, it is perfectly horrible. It is the worst thing and the most absolute worst thing you can think of. You specifically, your character, your bride, you as a person. What is horrible to you, it's going to be like that. By the time it reaches you, it's like dying and going to hell. It's like dying and being it's like dying and then being pulled into an eternal nightmare. To that dream world. Which is worse than death.
As Maivyn's mind grappled with the haunting agreement with the cursed bow, a chilling revelation seeped into their consciousness. The bow revealed a harrowing truth. In vivid and terrifying detail, it painted a picture of the impending arrival of the hatred-imbued living stone, an entity that would lay claim to their very souls. The cursed bow's voice, now filled with a sinister clarity, described the arrival of this malevolent manifestation. It recounted the relentless torment that awaited his party, a nightmarish fate designed specifically to prey upon their deepest fears and vulnerabilities. It would be an eternal hellscape, a realm of perpetual suffering from which there would be no escape. The weight of this knowledge pressed upon his shoulders. The cursed bow's words echoed ceaselessly, driving home the gravity of their impending doom. Whether there was a glimmer of hope or a path to salvation remained uncertain, but the revelation served as a haunting reminder that time was of the essence, and a desperate struggle against the encroaching darkness lay ahead. Without hesitation, Maivyn joins the table with the journeyman, Artorius, and Lys Drea, and contributes his newly gained wisdom regarding the topic at hand.
So Maivyn, I mean, it's good to know. Because that's pretty bad. Those are pretty dire consequences. Don't let it get strong enough to the point where it can just absorb you and bring you into its world and for an eternal nightmare. Pretty much is what that is. And I would like to think that Maivyn insight, along with Maven's intuition, knowing the occult and how these certain maybe curses and evil things, supernatural things, and how they get stronger over time, and the cycles and the phases that all that entails. He can probably gauge how long they have before something of that magnitude is able to do something of that magnitude, such as pull you into an eternal hell. I'm going to roll a d6. That's how many days we have before that thing arrives and takes out, and something drastic and something really bad happens. If we do not have an episode dedicated to taking care of that thing in some form or fashion, then we'll probably face some consequences. So it's all based up to chance, but we probably want to make that our focus for every episode going forward. I'm gonna roll 1d6, and that's how many days we have left. Six days. We have 6 days or face eternal nightmare. Eternal nightmare consequence. Unless we flee. We'll have to leave. The situation between Maivyn and Rydak is going to get its own side plot. Yeah, we're gonna add Rydak, Maivyn Rydak on Maivyn, or Maivyn on Rydak. Maydak v Rydak. Maivyn v Rydak. That's now on the plot list. Man, that is crazy. We need a name. We need a name for this bow. In the comment section, give us a name for this accursed bow that has completely devoured Maivyn's arm, rebuilds its arm whenever it wants to take control, is Larcenous and how it wants to steal life, yet it wants to protect its host. It's a terrible thing. What is this bow's name? In the comment section, drop your idea for what this bow is called. What does it go by?